What's up, world? This is Hollywood Sucks. The PG-13 rating has been around since the mid-80s, and since that time, Hollywood studios have made it their business to market and advertise films using this rating. The problem I have with this particular rating is the hypocrisy of it. Let me give you an example. The first film to be given a PG-13 rating was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. In the film, the villain performs a human sacrifice and rips out the heart of the victim and shows it to his cult members in plain view. Now, I remember seeing this as a child and being terrified. I just saw this recently as an adult. It doesn't terrify me now, but I still feel like it's something that a child should not be watching in an adventure film. I know that major studios' demographics are between 18 and 40, but notice that the number 13 is not in that demographic. My point is, movies today are in the business of selling violence to children. Take a look at your average superhero film. Are you seriously going to tell me that these films aren't more violent than a horror film or a gangster film? There's death, destruction, and collateral damage in a lot of PG-13 films. In many ways, unlike an R-rated film, death is either sanitized or trivialized. Rated R films show graphic violence, but I believe in showing explicit violence. Although unsettling, it doesn't trivialize human life. In fact, it shows the reality of death and that life has consequences that can lead to violent end. Another issue is the censorship of language, nudity, and sex. Hollywood thinks it's fine to sell violence to kids, but looking at the human body or hearing a cuss word is a no-no. Mass shootings are very pervasive in American society. I ask myself if PG-13 films are desensitizing kids to killing and death. Now, I'm not saying that films are to blame for mass shootings and violent crime, but PG-13 has a long history of making violence look cartoonish and video game-like. Also, certain films have been sabotaged or totally watered down by being given a PG-13 rating. 3 films I like a lot that have gone through this process are the film King Arthur, The Chronicles of Riddick, and Live Free or Die Hard. All 3 theatrical releases didn't do too well at the box office because there were adult-themed movies being sold to kids, and is usually a box office disaster waiting to happen. Another film that suffered from this was the horror action film called Priest. This film was basically Mad Max meets Blade. Who thought it was a good idea to make this film PG-13? Just think about it. If Wesley Snipes decided to make another Blade movie and it was announced it was going to be PG-13, you would say, what the F? I would say the same thing. I've always had an issue with this rating because it destroys films that have the potential to be good and makes action movies look more cartoonish with terrible CGI and a trivial view of human life. In my opinion, Hollywood should ditch the rating and maybe films can have better quality and content. I know it's wishful thinking, but what do you think?